Fraser Olender slams Anthony-Iracane for guest mistake. Stress was already abundant during a rare 5-day charter on Below Deck Season 12, Episode 4, but tensions reached new heights when Chef Anthony-Iracane made a nearly disastrous mistake with his dinner choice for the guests. When Fraser Olender served the guests shrimp tempura sushi during the June 23 episode, one member of the group, Marcel, asked, "This isn't shrimp, is it?" As Fraser paused, Marcel added, "I'm allergic to shellfish." As Marcel told another guest, "I'm trying to breathe tonight," Fraser profusely apologized and ran back to the kitchen with the meal, muttering to himself, Chef, come on." When he got to the galley, he pointed out to Anthony, "Chef, shellfish allergy." Producers flashed back a few days to show that Anthony was present during the preference sheet meeting when shellfish allergy was highlighted. "Oh, you're right, no shrimp," Anthony replied, but Fraser wasn't satisfied. "We can't make these mistakes," Fraser stated, "because we look stupid now." Fraser Olender claims Anthony-Iracane is repeating past mistakes. When Chef Lawrence Snowden decided to quit after one charter during Season 12, Fraser recommended Anthony be hired in his place. Captain Kerry Titharaj fired the French chef last season after issues with his performance in the galley. "This is history repeating itself already," Fraser exclaimed in his confessional after the shrimp incident. "Read the goddamn preference sheets." Fraser also questioned his decision to suggest the chef to Kerry. "This cannot happen again, because I'm not going to start worrying about the decision to bring him back this soon," he lamented in his confessional. In the galley, Fraser told Anthony that creativity comes after preferences sheets and allergies, but Anthony was apologetic for his mistake. "I forgot about this shellfish allergy. And that could end terribly because somebody can have a medical issue about that," Anthony admitted. "Not reading preference sheet, it was one of the reasons why I got fired last season." He called the shellfish allergy this season the first and last mistake. No more goddamn mistakes. Chef Anthony-Iracane panics over guest allergy mistake. The big mistake on night 2 of the charter was on Anthony's mind as he prepared dinner on night 3. "So last night, I definitely kid up," he said in his confessional, and admitted he was striving for perfection. "You always have this little voice inside, you know. She tells me you're never going to make it. You're never going to make it. You're a loser. You'll stay a loser. Maybe you can get fired again." But Anthony was determined not to let his previous failures on charter get to him. "I'm not going to let the little voice inside my head f me over," he said. Despite the chef's nerves, the dinner went well, and Fraser was impressed. "Anthony has slayed this dinner. I'm so proud of him," he said. "That's the chef that I know." The primary guest agreed and mentioned the food was out of this world as the guests left. Anthony called his mother to chat at the end of the charter and mentioned his relationship with the chief stew. "Fraser, I forgive, but I don't forget," Anthony told her. "It stays inside me, and when I get the opportunity to talk to him, I will." When dinner takes a dangerous detour, shellfish shock on the high seas. Stress was already brewing aboard the Street David during a rare, extended 5-day charter in Below Deck Season 12, Episode 4. Everyone was on edge, trying to deliver an unforgettable experience for the demanding guests. But then, Chef Anthony-Iracane, a familiar face with a history, made a mistake that almost sent a guest to the hospital and sent shockwaves through the entire crew. Picture this: Chief Stew Fraser Olender, ever the professional, is serving up what he thinks is a delightful shrimp tempura sushi to the guests. The vibe is chill, everyone's enjoying themselves. Then, a guest named Marcel casually asks, "This isn't shrimp, is it?" Fraser pauses, a flicker of concern crossing his face. Marcel, seeing his hesitation, adds the crucial detail, "I'm allergic to shellfish." Can you feel that sudden drop in your stomach? That, oh no moment. Because Fraser certainly did. Marcel, trying to keep his cool, murmured to another guest, "I'm trying to breathe tonight." Fraser, a whirlwind of apologies, snatched the plate and practically sprinted back to the galley, a frustrated chef, come on, escaping his lips. He burst into the kitchen, his voice laced with urgency, pointing at the plate. Chef, shellfish allergy. This wasn't just a simple mix-up. This was a critical error, the kind that can have serious medical consequences. The show's producers quickly flashed back to a few days prior, reminding us that Anthony was indeed present during the preference sheet meeting, where shellfish allergy was clearly highlighted. There was no excuse. Anthony, realizing his blunder, mumbled, "Oh, you're right, no shrimp." But Fraser wasn't having it. "We can't make these mistakes," he stated, his voice firm, "because we look stupid now," and he was right. In the high-stakes world of superyacht charters, mistakes like this aren't just embarrassing, they can be truly dangerous. Déjà vu? Fraser questions his choices as history repeats itself. For those who follow Below Deck, chef-Anthony-Iracane's presence on the street, David might have raised a few eyebrows. After all, Captain Carrie Titharaj had to fire the French chef last season due to ongoing performance issues in the galley. This season, when Chef Lawrence Snowden surprisingly quit after just one charter, it was Fraser who, perhaps a little too optimistically, recommended Anthony as his replacement. So when the shellfish fiasco unfolded, it wasn't just a mistake. It felt like a chilling echo of the past. "This is history repeating itself already," Fraser exclaimed in his confessional, a mix of frustration and regret in his voice. "Read the goddamn preference sheets." You could see the internal struggle in Fraser's eyes. He had put his neck out for Anthony, and now, so early in the season, he was already questioning that decision. "This cannot happen again," he lamented in his confessional, "because I'm not going to start worrying about the decision to bring him back this soon in." It's a relatable sentiment, isn't it? When you've vouched for someone, and they let you down, it's not just their mistake. It feels like your own. Back in the galley, Fraser, ever the mentor, laid it out for Anthony. Creativity comes after preferences, sheets, and allergies. A simple truth, but one that clearly needed to be reinforced. Anthony, to his credit, was genuinely apologetic. "I forgot about this shellfish allergy. And that could end terribly because somebody can have a medical issue about that," he admitted, the gravity of his error sinking in. He even acknowledged his past, not reading preference sheet. "It was one of the reasons why I got fired last season." He promised this shellfish allergy incident would be the first and last mistake. No more goddamn mistakes. A promise he would surely be held to, not just by Fraser, but by the watchful eyes of Captain Carey and, of course, the millions of viewers at home. The weight of expectation. Anthony's inner battle and redemption. The specter of the shellfish mistake loomed large over Anthony as he prepared dinner on night 3 of the charter. You could almost feel his anxiety radiating through the screen. "So last night, I definitely kid up," he confessed in his confessional, admitting that he was striving for perfection, but the pressure was immense. He spoke about that insidious little voice inside, the one we all have that whispers doubts and fears. "You always have this little voice inside, you know. She tells me, you're never going to make it. You're never going to make it. You're a loser. You'll stay a loser. Maybe you can get fired again." It's a powerful moment, revealing the deep-seated insecurities that can plague even the most talented individuals when the stakes are high. Anthony's vulnerability here was incredibly relatable. Who hasn't battled that inner critic? But Anthony, to his immense credit, was determined not to let his past failures or his self-doubt sabotage him again. Despite the chef's palpable nerves, the dinner on night 3 was a triumph. Fraser, who had been so critical just hours before, was genuinely impressed. "Anthony has slayed this dinner. I'm so proud of him," he said, a genuine smile on his face. "That's the chef that I know." It was a moment of true leadership from Fraser, acknowledging improvement and offering encouragement. The ultimate validation came from the primary guest, who, as the guests disembarked, raved that the food was out of this world. It was a massive win for Anthony, a testament to his resilience and his culinary skill when he's focused. At the end of the charter, as the adrenaline of service subsided, Anthony called his mother, a moment that revealed another layer to his character. He mentioned his relationship with the chief stew, and his words were telling. "Fraser, I forgive, but I don't forget." He added, "It stays inside me, and when I get the opportunity to talk to him, I will." This final thought from Anthony leaves us wondering, what exactly does he intend to say to Fraser? Does "forgive but don't forget" imply a future confrontation, or simply a deep-seated desire to prove himself? Only time and future episodes of Below Deck will tell. But one thing is clear: the journey aboard the Street David is rarely smooth sailing, and the human element, with all its flaws and triumphs, continues to make for incredibly compelling television. What do you think about Anthony's reaction? Have you ever had to overcome a big mistake at work?